by Alice Phillips. Day 1. Arrival in Cairo. A first glimpse of magic. Touching down in Cairo felt like stepping into the pages of a history book that had suddenly come alive. The dry warmth of the Egyptian air embraced me as I exited the airport. My tour manager welcomed me with a wide, reassuring smile and a cold welcome drink that was nothing short of divine after the long flight. The drive to the hotel was a blend of modern chaos and ancient shadows. High-rises interspersed with minarets and date palms. That night, as I lay on crisp white sheets with the soft hum of Cairo outside my window, I couldn't stop thinking. I'm finally in Egypt. Summary of the day. My heart was racing with excitement. The land of pharaohs was now my reality. Day 2. Giza Pyramids, the Sphinx and Grand Egyptian Museum. The second I set eyes on the Great Pyramids of Giza, time stopped. No photograph could have prepared me for their staggering size. I stood there squinting against the golden sun, marveling at the scale, symmetry, and sheer audacity of ancient genius. The Sphinx felt enigmatic, its weathered face watching over us as if guarding ancient secrets. I whispered a quiet wow as I stood before the Valley Temple, imagining the rituals that once took place within those ancient walls. Lunch was a delightful dive into Egyptian flavors: rich tahini, soft pita, tender grilled meats, a welcome contrast to the arid breeze. The new Grand Egyptian Museum was a marvel, sleek and vast, housing treasures that glittered behind glass as if they'd just been unearthed. Gazing at Tutankhamun's golden mask felt like staring straight into history's eyes. Summary of the day. The pyramids weren't just seen, they were felt. A sacred kind of awe. Day 3. Mummies, churches, and citadels. This day was a time travel carousel. First stop, the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. I stood face to face with actual royal mummies. Ramesses II, Hatshepsut. Their presence was haunting and powerful. Old Cairo whispered tales through its narrow alleys and serene churches. I paused in a quiet corner of the hanging church, breathing in incense and silence. After a savory lunch, we ascended to the Salah el-Din Citadel. From up there, Cairo stretched endlessly, shimmering under a hazy sun. The alabaster brilliance of the Muhammad Ali Mosque gleamed. Oh, yes. And I couldn't help but feel tiny, both spiritually and physically. Summary of the day. Mummies, minarets, and the magic of Cairo's layers etched into my soul. Day 4. Flight to Luxor, the calm before the cruise. The flight to Luxor was quick, but the change in atmosphere was immediate. Luxor felt slower, older, quieter, a city that lets history breathe. The rest of the day was mine. I wandered near the hotel, watching feluccas glide silently across the Nile. As the sun dipped low, I sipped hibiscus tea on the terrace, letting the southern Egyptian air settle into my bones. Summary of the day. The Nile shimmered and I began to understand what it means to move with the river. Day 5. Karnak and Luxor temples, embarking the Nile cruise. I boarded the cruise ship, my floating home, with a grin I couldn't hide. After lunch on board, we ventured to the east bank of the Nile. Karnak Temple was a colossal forest of pillars. I walked among them, dwarfed, humbled, enchanted. Luxor Temple followed, its sunset-hued sandstone glowing as the sky deepened. The sheer grace of its obelisks and statues was intoxicating. That evening, we had the option to attend the Sound and Light show at Karnak. I did, and chills ran down my spine as the temple walls came alive with voice and color. Summary of the day: I walked with gods in stone-carved silence. Day 6. Valley of the Kings, Hatshepsut's Temple and Colossi of Memnon. This day hit me like a thunderclap of wonder. The Valley of the Kings was every bit as surreal as I'd imagined. The air inside the tombs was cool and dry, and the painted walls whispered timeless stories. Hatshepsut's temple was elegance carved into a cliff, feminine, regal, bold. I stood in awe of this female pharaoh's ambition etched in stone. The Colossi of Memnon rose like ancient sentinels, weathered and watchful. Later, we sailed to Edfu. The cruise moved like a dream, with dinner under stars and the water lapping softly against the hull. Summary of the day: I touched the heartbeat of a lost world. Day 7. Edfu and Kom Ombo temples. I rose with the sun and explored the Temple of Horus at Edfu. It felt impeccably preserved, like stepping into a temple frozen in time. The towering falcon god stared through the centuries, and I felt both reverent and small. Later, we docked at Kom Ombo. Twin gods, Sobek and Hyorus, shared this unique riverside temple. Crocodile mummies in the museum nearby made me giggle and shudder all at once. As the boat glided toward Aswan, I sipped sweet tea on the deck, watching life unfold on the riverbanks. Farmers, children, donkeys, date palms. Summary of the day: a falcon, a crocodile, and the soft hush of sails on the Nile. Day 8. Philae Temple in the Unfinished Obelisk. We began with a visit to the unfinished obelisk. Its sheer size stunned me, and the idea that it cracked just before completion was both tragic and deeply human. But Philae Temple, oh my goddess. Approached by boat, it sat like a jewel on the island. Devoted to Isis and Hathor, it was graceful, ethereal, and quietly powerful. I wandered in silence, heart thudding, overwhelmed by its beauty. Dinner on board was cheerful and full of laughter. Aswan had a rhythm all its own. Summary of the day: Philae stole my breath, a temple sculpted in love and water. Day 9. Optional journey to Abu Simbel. I chose to go, and what a journey! 3.5 hours through stark desert, every mile echoing with anticipation. When Abu Simbel finally rose before us, I almost cried. Those 4 colossal statues of Ramses II were overwhelming. Inside, the carvings, the light, the scale, all orchestrated like a symphony in stone. The temple to Nefertari, too, was regal, intimate, extraordinary. The ride back was quiet. I just stared out the window, heart full. Summary of the day: worth every mile. Abu Simbel is a masterpiece carved by a king for eternity. Day 10. Farewell, Egypt. After breakfast, we flew back to Cairo. It was time to say goodbye. At the airport, I turned to take one last look at the skyline. Egypt didn't just show me its monuments, it let me feel its soul. Final impression: my heart boarded the plane, but a part of my spirit remained on the banks of the Nile.